Hello everybody and welcome back to Across the Pond. This is Cat's Monthly Movies. I'm Cat. I'm joined by QJ, who always just sing, don't you? It's like every intro. You don't introduce yourself. You just come in with a song. Yeah. So this is the.
Is my name. There. Introduce myself.
This is the last episode of this. Of 2017. Next month we're
the
thinking of
world.
restructuring a little bit, going back to like one episode a month,
Yeah.
sharing it. Yeah?
Yes.
Were you gonna interrupt? Yes.
I was saying it's the last episode, but I guess we're gonna keep doing this.
Yeah. I meant the last episode of 2017, not the last episode ever.
Oh.
Although I don't know, it depends on how much I like upset you as a friend today, because I've got some things that might disappoint you a little bit.
Oh. Alright, we better lock in next
So yeah,
year's
I've watched
contract before we start this thing.
I've watched 13 movies this month, which is quite a few, and I've actually finished my bingo chart, which we'll get to as we go through.
Hooray!
At the start of the year, if you didn't know, QJ made me a bingo chart of like prompts for films, and I've done it now. I watched like I think about 8 of them this month, so that's what fills out most of this episode. The first movie that I watched, though, we'll jump straight into it, was a movie called Wonder, which I remember talking to you about it, and you were like, oh,
I was
that
being
looks
very
like garbage.
pessimistic about it, yeah.
You were very pessimistic. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Nice.
It was really moving. It was very heartfelt. Basically, it's a film, if you haven't seen the trailers or anything about it, it's a film about a kid who has, like, facial deformities, and he has to go to school for the first time. He's been homeschooled up to this point, and it's about him going to school for the first time, and dealing with, bullying and other kids not quite understanding his problems and stuff. And it does a really good job of handling that story and, like, giving the message of don't judge people just because of things they can't change. But it also, and the thing I really respected about this film, is it focuses not only on that kid, but it focuses also on his older sister, who, is having her own problems in her life. But it kind of gives the message of, just because someone else has bigger problems than yours, it doesn't mean that yours don't matter.
Oh, I so appreciate that message.
I've always, struggled with this. Like, when I was a kid, because I'm the younger sibling, that's something I've always had to deal with. Like, feeling like, oh, other people's problems are more important than mine, I'll just shut up and be quiet. And I really related to that, and I thought it was a really good way of including, not just doing this kid gets bullied because he's weird, but also doing, this is how his problems impact other people's lives, and his sister's just there like, my problems are just completely insignificant in comparison, and she's always like hiding away, and she's like gone into her shell because of it, and it's really well done. It's incredibly good as like a little family story about,
I totally appreciate that.
Yeah, about not just this kid but also everyone around him, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. You can be a pessimist all you like.
Okay. You didn't think it was like done in like a super cheesy way? Maybe it was just
I thought there were parts where it was a bit
trailer.
cheesy, but for a story like that, you kind of, it's like it's gonna be a little bit cheesy, and I don't know. I thought it did a good job of not being too overly like.
Good film.
Yeah, it had a lot of things going for it, and it had a lot of emotion. It was very good. I had tears in my eyes for the whole thing, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Thought it was wonderful.
Yay.
Okay, so then that's just a quick one. I didn't want to talk too much about that one. The next movie I watched was for the bingo chart. I ticked off the over 3 hours box with a little film, not a little film, a very long film called The Wolf of Wall Street, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was a solid film because I was going into the 3 hours.
One I haven't seen.
What did you think I was going to do for over 3 hours?
I'm not going to
Just
say
out of
because
curiosity.
now I have to add the things that I wanted you to watch that you didn't onto the next bingo chart in a different manner.
Oh man, yeah. Well, what's this? Yeah, The Wolf of Wall Street. It's solid. It's like, because when I went into the over 3 hour movie, I was expecting it to be like a drag, and this one it drags a little bit at the end, but not like so much that I was bored. It was just like, this could have been a bit shorter, but it didn't drag too much, and it was continually kind of interesting, and it just takes turns, and you're like, oh, okay, we're here now. This is happening. Like.
Are there any bad Leo DiCaprio films? I mean, really?
I don't know if there are, to be honest. He's pretty solid in like everything. I don't know. I haven't seen that many DiCaprio films, but I want to watch The Revenant. I keep
I
meaning to,
just
and I
read
never
that
have.
book. It was really
you?
good. Yeah.
Hype.
Yeah, now we're switching
Well-
to QJ's episode. QJ reads books. That's all. That's the
Good.
whole episode.
But yeah, The Wolf of Wall Street, it's great. It has some great performances. It's genuinely, yeah, it's solid. It's a really good film. I
What's
see
it
why
about?
people talked it up so much. It's about a guy who gets big on the stock market and like makes his own company and starts like dodging taxes and being a generally horrible person.
Okay.
Um,
Is it like Catch Me If
and yeah,
You Can after he
he
grows
does
up?
loads of drugs.
Oh, because Catch Me If You Can is like based on a true story, and it's Leo DiCaprio and he's like a con man, and he starts when he's like 14, and he like makes millions of dollars by stealing it all and becomes all rich and successful and evades the law for so long.
Similar movie, except yeah, he's like he starts off as like this semi-honest guy, and then he just gets more and more corrupted and worse as a human being as he goes on in the stock market, and it's a lot of fun. It's like I wasn't expecting it to be as fun as it was. There's a lot of scenes where you're just like, I'm just enjoying this is good, and it's nice. It's a good movie.
Cool.
I enjoyed it, and I'm glad I watched it, and thank you for the bingo chart having that option.
Yeah. Put that on my list.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
it'll
good.
be on my bingo chart.
It's not. Actually, I don't know. You might be able to fit it into one of the
Yeah, who knows?
bingo charts. Because the next year, for 2018, we're making each other movie bingo charts again. So QJ's going to have one. And I'm going to force her to watch the movies that she doesn't like.
Oh.
The next movie I watch is actually kind of related to this. You know how in your bingo chart you made the center square was like, I'm going to scroll down to find it. It
Extremely
was
specific.
sci-fi romance best original screenplay post 2000 with a title based on the poem. Well, on my bingo chart that I've made for you, I've done something similar. It's
Are you gonna tell me?
independent drama about a love triangle set in San Francisco, written, directed, and produced and starring the same person, which can only match the film The Room. There's no other
I
film
was
that
gonna
you can
guess.
possibly watch to get that bingo
I
chart
mean, I may
space.
as well. I was about to say
So unfortunately-
there could be worse movies you could have me watch, but I think in a very literal sense that's not true.
It is probably the worst movie ever, but it's beautiful. And so, on a related note, The Disaster Artist, the film about the making of The Room, came out this month, and that was the next movie I watched. Like, what a segue that was. What a really good segue.
Good job, Matt.
The Disaster Artist is a brilliant film. It's a great story about a man who just wants to live his dreams, but he just fails so spectacularly because he's such an idiot. And James Franco does an incredibly good performance.
Wait,
for
so this
film.
isn't like a documentary about the making
No.
of the film?
No, it's based on the book. I can't remember his name. Greg Sestero, the co-actor who played Mark in The Room, wrote a book about the making of The Room, about just all of the mishaps and disasters and just like the mess that it was to make, and how Tommy Wiseau is an insane human being. And James Franco just took this, turned the book into a film. So it's like a based on true events story kind of thing.
Okay.
And Franco absolutely nails it. His performance is like on point. I honestly think it deserves best performance Oscar, like Oscar this year, right? It won't
Wow.
get it because it's a comedy, but it's such an incredible performance. He's in character all time.
Comedies
He
never get
absolutely
that, do they?
nails it. No,
That sucks.
it does suck because he's incredible in this, and he won't get any commendation for it. He'll just get fans saying it was good, which is enough.
Well, and no
but,
one wants to admit anything related to The Room is good either, I'm sure.
True. But yeah, if you watch Tommy Wiseau in an interview and then you watch James Franco doing his Tommy Wiseau, it's just spot on, and it's weird, uncanny. After about 5 minutes in the film, you feel like you're actually watching the real Tommy Wiseau.
Really cool.
It's beautiful. It's really good. It's really well done. It's incredibly funny, and I think it would be funny even if you hadn't seen The Room. I think it's accessible to the point where I think if you hadn't seen the film, you'd be like, this is still a good film.
Okay.
If you
That's
have
good.
seen The
That's
Room,
calming.
you're you get a bit more out of it, kind of thing. And I think it's excellent. It doesn't feel like a one big in joke. It feels like a film that has in jokes, but you don't need to get them. You can
Sure.
just enjoy it otherwise. And it was really good. It was an excellent film. I really enjoyed it. The next movie I watched, I'm just going to zoom through some of these because, this one I'm definitely going to zoom through because I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it and I don't want to spoil it for you. This one is Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Oh, I have no idea if I'm even going to see that. I'm kind of waiting for everyone to calm the freak down before I put my feet in that puddle.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a... Loads of people love it, loads of people hate it. There's no one in the middle, but me, I think it was okay. I don't hate it, but I see the criticisms that the people who do hate it have, and I don't love it, but I see the things that people do love about it. And I'm just kind of in the middle, like, yeah, it was fun. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, a couple of my friends tell me it had a similar feel to any average Marvel film. Like, if you don't really need to read too much into it, you kind of just need to sit there and have fun and be like, oh, that was cool. It told the story, had some jokes, and it was a little action sci-fi thing.
Yeah, my main comparison would be to a specific Marvel film. Specifically, it had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 syndrome.
I totally knew you were about to say that.
It did it a little bit better, because with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the A plot was terrible and the B plot was great. In this film, the A plot is great, but the B plot is just... it's horrible.
And you went like mean fangirl all over Guardians 2. Just like everyone's going like mean nostalgic fan over Star Wars.
Yeah. Yep.
8?
But
18?
Yeah. Basically, all of the stuff with Luke, Rey, and Kylo Ren is fantastic. It's brilliant. Cool. It's incredibly well done. I enjoyed every part of it. It's just if you're gonna do a 2.5-hour movie, you got to add other things that are good. Because you could cut all of the B plots from this film and just have the Luke, Kylo Ren, Rey stuff, and it would have been a fantastic movie that was like an hour and a half. It would have been great. But they added in like an hour's worth of this weird social justice, like, oh, war profiteering is bad, be an environmentalist, like, ugh, with like Finn and this new character Rose who had no chemistry and felt like no place in the film. The only good part of that subplot was BB-8 was there, and BB-8 is like the best thing.
Aww.
But
is there BB-8 R2D2 like romance?
There's an evil BB-8 and he's pretty good. Yeah, he's basically only there to sell merchandise, but that's fine. But yeah, it's fine. It was entertaining enough that I was able to forget the fact that I kind of hated the Finn plotline, but yeah, it's like mediocre. I'm in the middle. I'm like, I loved all that Luke stuff. A lot of people hate the Luke stuff. They're like, Luke would never do that, which is ridiculous because the main thing they complain about is Luke would never go into hiding and, have doubt himself and not be a big old hero. But it's like, that's what Jedi always do. Because like, 80s. Mark Hamill at one point said in an interview, Jedi don't give up. But it's like, what did Yoda do? What did Obi-Wan do? They all give up. Every Jedi ever has either died or given up. It's ridiculous. You can't... Anyway, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought, there was some fun, like, CGI. There was some fun stuff. The Finn plotline was garbage and felt very much like the prequels, and I hated it. But aside from that, the rest of the film was pretty good. It was solid. Kylo Ren is a great villain. Everything's good. It's fine.
I think it's just hard to be around anyone when, like, with a franchise that's passed the torch to so many different creators in the course of its lifetime. Yeah. And everyone's like, so-and-so ruined it. No, this person ruined it. Oh, my childhood is ruined. Okay, whatever movies come out, like the first 3, they haven't changed. Oh, actually, no, they have. But like, I don't know. Like, if you love the first 3 movies for what they are, you still can, no matter what came after them. Like,
yeah, it doesn't matter. Also, I don't see how people don't just say this was a fun movie, because it was fun. It was fine. People get mad about things for no reason. Yeah. I mean, I say that, but I also get mad about things for no reason all the time, so I can't really criticize.
I mean, the reason people loved the original trilogy when it first came out is because it was fun. And it was, partially because, like, they used a lot of, like, CGI or whatever that was brand new, and, I mean, when I watched the original trilogy, I was like, this was cool. I don't totally comprehend how it's become such a huge thing for so long, because it's one of the biggest fan bases ever. And I'm like, this was fun, but not the greatest thing in the entire world. So
Yeah.
some franchises
I think
do
it's
get
just
really
like
lucky
at the time.
with how much they stick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and that has its downsides because then it turns people just like crazy evil
Yeah.
over their protectiveness. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone can calm down.
Yeah, just chill out, guys. It's just Star Wars. Don't stress. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
Don't
like
stress.
I'm
The next
crazy
movie
about
I
the Harry
watched.
Potter books, but sorry.
Oh, no, I don't
Just-
want to talk about Harry Potter. Let's not.
No, I'm just saying Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them was a totally okay movie, and I'm not about to be like, she needs to stop writing and making movies and leave the franchise alone.
garbage.
Because a lot of people feel that way. They're like, J.K. Rowling needs to stop adding stuff to the universe. I'm like, let her do her thing, and if you don't like it, ignore it. Like, you are
No,
not
they just need to make good
part
movies.
of the family that she's... whatever. Everyone just
It's
calm
like
down.
for the crimes of Grindelwald.
I could care less.
So you do care then?
No, those phrases mean the same.
Grammar. No, they don't. I could care less means that you care. Because if you can care less, that means that you
maybe I
care at least a little bit.
But the
Yeah.
phrase means that if I wanted to turn down my caring and care less, I could easily do it. That's how, like, little strength my caring has.
No, it doesn't. It means that the literal meaning is that you care. I couldn't care less means that you care at the very minimum level.
No!
Yeah, but you're telling me that you care.
I don't care
You're-
at the very
that-
minimum level, because I'll probably see the movie and I'll probably be like, oh, this is pretty.
Yeah, but I could care less is a meaningless statement. It doesn't tell you anything. It just tells you that you care. You could be anywhere on the scale of caring if you could care less. I hate that. It's like one of my pet peeves. I don't go grammar Nazi often. That's the only thing I go grammar Nazi
I
on.
usually go Nazi, but, like, that's one of the phrases I really don't care about.
Oh, would you say that you couldn't care less about it?
No?
Well, then you'd be wrong. Anyway, the next movie I watched, this is going to be like a disappointment that you have in me. I did my bingo chart. I filled out the Don Bluth square by watching Anastasia, the like obvious one, because I hadn't really heard of any of the other ones, and I was like, well,
Nice.
let's watch that one. I don't like 2D animation. I don't think it looks good. I get bored.
Stupid.
No, I genuinely, it's why I don't like anime, it's why I don't like Disney classics. I get bored by it if it's not, like, 2D animation has to be like a stylized, unique look, or a TV show where I only have to look at it for like 20 minutes. If it's like a full feature-length film, I just get so bored looking at it. I'm like, ugh, I'm not interested.
You art video major, whatever your major is, obsessed with 3D art. And... What did you study?
What? I studied digital technology at my undergrad
Yeah,
and film
you
and TV
digital tech
major
major with your
at
special
my
3D
masters.
animating garbage and
Well, I grew up on 3D animation, where everything's expressive and like faces move and have like realistic
I grew
motion
up
to them.
on the original Star Wars trilogy, and now I hate everything that's different. I don't know.
I'm sorry that my views and opinions were shaped by the things I grew up with. It's only like that's what
That's
human
okay.
beings do. I
Alright.
I just don't like 2D animation very much, and it bores me, and I'm like, it just looks too generic and dull to me. And unless there's like flashy Robin Williams being a genie in it, I'm just like, ugh, I'm so bored, you know?
I guess if you can't
I
stand
just,
looking at it, it's gonna be hard to appreciate anything
Yeah,
else about it.
Did
Did you like anything else about it?
I did. I liked the villain. I thought he was good. He was
Rasputin.
fun. In the Dark of the
he's crazy.
Night is a great song. It's like top tier. Like, I really enjoyed that song. And the little bat guy, he was fun because he had a silly voice. Yeah, everything else I was like, oh, yawn. She's gonna be the princess and
I love
she's
Once
gonna do
Upon a
whatever.
December.
I think I also just get bored by princess stories. I'm just not interested in them. I
Even though
just
she was an actual real life princess, like in
well,
history.
yeah, but like, who cares? I just don't. I'm just not interested in the princess story. It's because I grew up with Shrek. That's what it is. I grew up with Shrek, so whenever I see a princess story, I'm like,
Princess story.
I just see it as a joke now. Because Shrek is
guess.
it's an antithesis on princess stories. So I grew up with that. So now I'm
was
like,
really
who
cool.
cares about the original princess stories when I could just be watching Shrek? But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not against it. I think it was well animated for what it was and for the time. To me, it's a personal thing, not an. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
Like, I can see enjoying it.
I think what I loved about the story is that her primary goal was finding out who she was and who her family was, and like the
Yeah.
main connection was between her and her grandmother. And
Yeah.
although the romance story was like overly pushed a little too much, and that's where it
Yeah.
ended. I don't know. I liked that there was a primary goal that was not, you know, like, oh, there's this guy that I like.
Yeah.
And I liked the chemistry that they had. Like they hated each other.
Yeah.
They were just constantly fighting, and her dog kept biting him. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was fine. I can't really complain too much. Like, it was a well made, well produced movie, and if you like that kind of thing, I see why you'd like it. But to me,
And really good
nah.
voice acting, I thought.
Yeah, actually, the voice acting was pretty on point.
Was it Michelle
especially
Pfeiffer?
for the bat.
Yeah.
That wasn't Michelle Pfeiffer. The
No,
bat
not
definitely
Bartok.
not. He was the best. He was the best little guy. I like a good comic relief villain sidekick. It's why I like Iago from Aladdin so much. I just think it's so silly when the villain is so like dead serious like that, and then they just got like a little idiot sitting on their shoulder. Like, oh, it's always fun. I think that's a trope that needs to be used more because it's funny and it's good. I like it.
Yeah.
The next movie I watched, in a similar vein of me just not liking things, just mostly because I'm not interested in the genre. I watched A Fistful of Dollars because you made me watch a spaghetti western. Why are you giving me that look? Like you're
I
confused.
thought you watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
No, well, I was gonna watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and then I was on its Wikipedia page, and I found out that it was like the third film in a trilogy, and I was like, well, I should probably watch the
What?
first one, shouldn't I? Because it's A
I didn't
Fistful
know
of
that.
Dollars, a few dollars more, and then The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
What?
I don't know if they're the same story, but that's
Not-
that's what Wikipedia told me.
Don't tell Shay, he'll be mad. He hates watching things out of order,
That's
even
what
if they don't matter.
Wikipedia said. Anyway, I don't like westerns. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't care about the characters. I don't like the whole like macho cowboy American. Ooh, I'm chewing on a bit of straw and I'm gonna quickly shoot everyone.
Watch Django Unchained. It's the best western.
Yeah, but it's not a spaghetti western. You put spaghetti
it's
western on the list,
No,
so I couldn't do that, could I? I would have done that if you
I
just
don't
put
think I had
western.
any idea for spaghetti western. I guess I figured you'd watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, although I don't know why I'd care that much about it because I haven't seen it.
Classic. Oh, I don't like westerns. Don't make me watch any more of them, please. I hate them so much. They're so dull. They're just like, I wanted to fall asleep. I hated it so much.
It is kind of a very classic genre that like a certain type of people love. Like they just like
Yeah.
you would watch westerns all the time. I don't think anyone does anymore, but like
Yeah,
sometimes I
I
love
reckon-
getting into really old stuff and getting into the old like mindset.
Yeah.
But with westerns and like whatever.
I just don't care. Yeah, I feel like in like 20 years, I'm going to be that for superhero movies. Like, the young people are going to be like, oh my god, shut up about superhero movies. And I'm like, superhero movies were the greatest movies of all time. But, I don't know, maybe I'll be like that, maybe I won't. The next movie I watched was a movie that you watched and I think you briefly talked about it last month or at some point. You told me that you'd seen it. And it filled out a bingo chart for me. It was an award-winning actor's film debut. Because it's Natalie
right.
Portman's film debut. Film debut. So I watched Leon the Professional, which was interesting. It's bizarre and strange, and
That's a
unexpected.
really good way to
and,
describe it.
like it. I mean, I can't say I loved it, but it definitely made me think. It was the kind of film where I was like, "What's happened? What do I think of this? What?" I was just confused
Yeah,
the
I
whole
feel like
time.
you had the same feelings that I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, because in America it's just called The Professional.
yeah.
And how old was Natalie Portman when she did that? Like, she had to have been like 13.
She was like 12, I think. Her parents made them like take scenes out because it was weird and like too romancy for a young child to do.
Yeah,
and like
it.
her parents had to like get the contract adjusted and like, it was weird.
I'm not gonna lie, that movie made me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, same. But I think that was the point.
Kind of a pervert.
Yeah, I think that was, the point was to make you feel uncomfortable. It was to make you feel that way, and it was an interesting story because you don't see stories like that.
Yeah, they did a good job doing that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they kind of expressed sort of like lost, forlorn, like orphan feeling like she doesn't know how to like she wants to grow up and be a woman, but also like
Yeah.
be strong and be her own killer and get
Yeah.
revenge for her little brother. And but she's also like, oh, I like this person, and so I'm gonna be in love with them. And
Yeah. It
I
was
was like,
weird.
ugh. But I feel
It
like
was
that
just a
probably happens to a
strange-
lot of
ugh.
kids who are like don't really know how to be a
Yeah.
child anymore, but aren't ready to grow up and be an adult.
Yeah.
They don't know how to make their own way other than trying to prove themselves. But then it's just awkward because like you're not a grown up. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. It was this kind of. It was almost brilliant in the way that it doesn't aim to be entertaining. It just aims to be this bizarre little story that you feel like it's unrealistic because it wouldn't ever happen, but like I wouldn't be surprised if it did, because it was all the characters were quite realistic, even though they weren't normal.
Yeah.
Like they were odd
It's
characters.
just like two
but they
people
were,
kind of thrown together, and
Yeah.
so he just went with it.
Yeah, it was good.
I had
I enjoyed it. I didn't love it though.
Yeah. I had a problem with the scene where she was trying to prove that she would like just shoot a gun, and so she took a pistol and went out to the window
Yeah.
and like just shot outside like 8 times, and the prop in her hand is like bouncing all over the place. And I'm like, she's never shot a gun in her life. Like that gun would have just like flew out of her hand with the kickback that it has. But she was just like la da 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 bouncing gun all over the place. And I'm like, it's not. You're not even holding it with 2 hands.
Oh, that's
Not a very
yeah.
well shot scene.
Yeah, but you know, it was fine. I can't criticize it. It gave me a.
She did do a
It was good 'cause,
fantastic
like,
job. Like
Oh yeah,
I'm not
like
surprised
Natalie
she-
Portman.
she
Great.
soared from that role.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good way of filling that bingo chart square because I had no idea otherwise, and it was a good film to watch. It was worth watching. It was good. I enjoyed it. The next film I watched was a 3D animated film by Blue Sky Entertainment called Ferdinand, where John Cena, my boy, John Cena, voices a bull, and he doesn't want to be a bull, he wants to be a nice flower bull, and it's, man, what a fun movie, what a heartwarming,
Flower bowl?
charming, a flower bull, as in like he wants to look at flowers and pick flowers and be a little friendly
Oh, he
man.
doesn't want to be one of those
He doesn't want to be a
bulls in
fighting
the
bull.
arena. Oh,
Yeah, it's
that's
like
nice.
it's like set in Spain. It's actually pretty good. Like it had some minor problems. I came into it like with no real prior expectations. I was like, John Cena, what a legend. He's a good voice actor. He does a good job. I actually quite like John Cena as an actor. I think
Like,
he has
they actually
potential.
make a good story out of it instead of just being like, let's put John Cena into a cartoon and then people will watch it. So we're not going to
Nah.
put any more effort into it.
It's genuinely good. I like it. Basically, the only problems it had were at the start they showed him as a kid, and the kid voice actors are like not good at all, and it's kind of awkward there. And then the other problem it has is it has that thing that animated films sometimes do, where every character except for the 2 main characters have some sort of comic relief gimmick, and they like cram them in. I would call that Finding Nemo syndrome, where just every side character has some sort of gimmick to them, like, oh, this one talks like a surfer dude, this one, like, you know, when they're in the tank and every
Nemo
single one of
does
them has
that,
like,
doesn't it?
yeah, everyone but Nemo and his dad have some sort of like comedy gimmick, and it's like, it's one of the reasons I don't like Finding Nemo very much, because it's just like
I
none of these are
never
real
noticed that.
characters.
Because that's
yeah,
often very overwhelming in a kid's movie.
Yeah.
Because the comic relief is often that like the characters are like hyper and bouncy and crazy because like let's make kids laugh,
Yeah,
and it's obnoxious. But it didn't bother me in Finding Nemo. But now that you mention it, that's an interesting trope.
yeah, and Ferdinand does it, and some of them are overbearing, some of them are friggin' hilarious, and it's like you could have cut some of these and then you would have had a good but there's this one bull in the like farm that he's in, who's like a Scottish like big old Aberdeen Angus, like the big hair, like really woolly ones, and he's in Spain and he thinks he's in Scotland and he can't see because he's got a big fringe over his eyes, and he's hilarious. He's voiced by David Tennant and it's great. There's
Aw,
one that
that's
was like
cute.
There's one that's like a bull who was grown in a lab, and he like moves around all robotically and never speaks, and it's so funny. Every time he's on screen, I was laughing because like the way he's animated is so good.
It sounds like a good time.
Yeah. Otherwise, there were some generally unfunny other characters. Like there's a goat who's just abrasive and annoying, and that's like her character, and it's like, please stop, just stop. But overall, it's a good story. It tells a really good story.
Sounds like it had a nice message. You know?
Yeah, it did. It had a nice message about
someone who's born and being raised a certain way, and then decides they want to not be that way, and live a different life and not conform.
Yeah, and
to who they are.
I almost feel like it's a personal thing for John Cena, because like everyone assumes that he's like, because he's a wrestler and he's all big and muscly and stuff, that he's like this tough guy persona, but he's actually quite a nice guy, and he's actually quite friendly as far as I've heard. Like he takes on loads of Make-A-Wish kids and just like hangs out with them just because he feels like that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And he's as far as I know, he sounds like a really nice guy, and I think this film is almost him, like he wanted to be in it because he gets pigeonholed into that kind of, you're a big tough guy, so that's all you are, and he wants, he has more to him and he wants to show people that, and I think that's really nice. I thought that was a really nice thing that John Cena did, and I like John Cena. I think he's a good lad. So yeah, that's Ferdinand. The next movie I watched had another wrestler in it. Ooh-wee, wrestler time. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, which you were skeptical
of. Is that out
of.
already?
Yeah, it came out like just before Christmas. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun movie. It's a good romp. It's like most of the jokes land, a couple of them fall flat. There's one scene that was just like cringy because it's kind of like outdated sexism tropes. Because they're like, oh, you're a girl, you should flirt with these guards to distract them. And it's like, it goes on for far too long, and it's just like, please stop. Other than that, though, most of the comedy was pretty on point. The Jack Black's character was insanely good. Jack Black nailed that performance. It was just so top tier, and I loved it. Every single line of dialogue he delivers is on point, of like a teenage Instagram girl in the body of Jack Black, hating every minute of it, but slowly realizing to become less, like her whole arc is becoming less like materialistic and shallow through being Jack Black. And it's so good.
Wait, who played the girl video game character?
Karen Gillan. She plays Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy, and she was in Doctor Who.
Wait, so the person who transforms into a girl is like a girl in her original?
Yeah.
It's not like, okay.
Yeah, it's two girls, two guys.
Thought, but I wasn't.
Yeah, it's two girls, two guys going into the game, but one of the girls ends up like being Jack Black in the video game, and it's so good. There's also some really good callbacks to the original. Like the map is the same map as the board game, and they don't show you the full map until like the end, and you're like, oh, and like they don't call attention to it. You just see it, and you're like, oh, I get that. And there's a really nice little there's a few really good callbacks. It's really good. I genuinely enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It's not like amazing. It's not perfect or anything, but it's a fun little turn your brain off, have a romp.
You're gonna go to the movies like once a day.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life, like you do. Like, it's not a total waste of time.
Yeah, just be entertained for like an hour and a half. And that's what you do. You're entertained, and it's good. It's very fun.
Good,
and The Rock is great. The Rock is always great. I think The Rock is an underrated human being in our society. I think more people need to appreciate how good The Rock is. Okay. So I'm purely going to talk about bingo chart movies, because this is the point where I got home from my like Christmas break visiting family, and I was like, yesterday I was like, I've got to watch 4 movies. So yesterday I watched 3 of these, and then this morning I watched the last one. So I'm going to blast through these. The first one I watched was pure torture. Thanks for putting this one on. It was the bingo chart space for released in the birth month of my favorite parent, or whatever it was, which meant that I had to go to like, I can't even remember what the date was. It's like
that was a rando.
It was like the 1960s, I want to say 69 or something. I didn't have many good choices. The one that looked like it had the best because I read up on all of them on their Wikipedia pages, and this one had like, some praise and seemed like it might actually be good. It wasn't. It was pure torture. It was a film called Alphaville. It's a French dystopian sci-fi noir movie.
That sounds awesome.
No, it was horrible. It was like, okay, I'm not good at reading subtitles.
That's
I get so
random, like, genres mushed together.
I know. It does a really bad job of establishing that it's sci-fi because it's just...
Wait, you had to read subtitles? They were speaking
Yeah,
French?
I had to read subtitles.
Why would you pick?
I ended up watching it in like double speed because I could still read the subtitles. It was just, it was the most, it was old, it hadn't aged well, so it being sci-fi was like really hard to believe because everything was in like office buildings and like looked like the 1960s, and I'm like, this isn't, it's like they barely tried to make it look like it was set in the future. So it was just not good. It was like the most boring... it just drained life out of me, QJ. I hated every minute of it.
Oh.
Like, it was theoretically well made for its time, but boy, has it not aged well at all.
Not like Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I don't know what that is. Is that good? Is that bad?
It's acclaimed to be one of the worst movies of like ever made, and
classic. Well, yeah.
It's like black and white, and it's we'll talk. We'll love to talk. That was actually the one I was hoping you would watch for IMDb's like bottom 100.
Oh no!
Movies.
When The Room is an option, always watch The Room. But yeah, I don't have much more to say about Alphaville aside from it was just god awful, boring, old, hated it, bad. No. The next movie I watched was the center square of my bingo chart, a sci-fi romance, best original screenplay post-2000 with a title based on a poem. Eternal Sunshine, or is it... It's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, isn't it? I always want to say Sunset, and I don't know why. I don't know why I go Sunset.
Eternal Sunset, wow.
I thought it was pretty solid. I don't actually have that much to say about it. I just enjoyed it. Like, I thought Jim Carrey is good at drama. He's good at like...
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's very good at comedy, right? But like I don't really like Jim Carrey as a comedian very much because I don't like that
depressed like.
Yeah, he was great. It was a really good performance.
He does that character fantastic.
Yeah.
And so does Kate Winslet.
One of the things I didn't like about this film, and it's a personal thing, I really don't like that kind of like, I'm a broken, edgy girl. Ooh, I'm so broken. Look at how weird and ooh, Kate Winslet's character. I just don't like that.
Well, and
cliche.
I think one of her like personal flaws is that she is obnoxious and needs to get over herself.
Yeah, but it just made the chemistry between them not believable to me because I was like, man, Jim, get out of this. You're too good. You're too good for this. This horrible,
I think the idea was
trash character.
They're both like lost and broken in a very similar way, but they express it differently, and that's why they feel like they have that chemistry with one another. But because they express it so differently, it's hard for them to interact and like communicate well and have a healthy relationship.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like they understand each other, but when they actually try and like talk and like have intimacy, it's like, okay, this is clashing.
Yeah, I see that, but at the same time, it's hard for me to believe a romantic chemistry between a character I like and a character I really hate. So the whole time I was like, I don't...
Yeah, there are times when I was watching it the first few times where I was like, why do they get along? She's so hyper and he's so mellow.
Yeah. Why does he care so much?
But I do feel like that happens a lot in real life. Like, he's very charmed by her, and she's sort of like, oh, he's cute and quiet.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. I really like all of the effects, the way they directed the traveling through the memories kind of thing. I thought was really well directed.
Bizarrely fantastic.
Yeah, it was
really cool.
It was great in that regard. But yeah, I don't really have a huge amount to say
through their
about
own memories.
Yeah.
Or like scenes where like the bookshelves were disappearing, or people that had faces on.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was good. I feel like I've disappointed you in not having enough to say though. Because isn't this like your favorite movie of all time or whatever?
It's my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. So
were you surprised with the B story with when you found out that Mary had been with Howard?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I thought that was really good.
The doctor.
Because,
That's always
yeah,
a-
you don't see that coming.
Yeah.
And the whole time, the whole film, I was like, why do they keep focusing so hard on Mark Ruffalo and Elijah Wood and, what's her name? She's in
Kirsten Dunst.
Jumanji and also Cousin Dunst and also Spider-Man. She's been all over the place recently. I've seen so many movies with
Yep.
her in it recently. She seems to be just like up and about, but like not really because they're all old movies. But yeah, it was good. I thought
yeah.
that was unexpected. It was solid.
Mhm. Because you can tell
Like,
throughout the whole movie that she's got a huge crush on.
Mark Ruffalo.
No, how I can't remember Howard's last
okay.
name. The
Oh,
old guy.
old
She
guy,
keeps
yeah.
talking about him, and Mark Ruffalo's like, oh, jeez. And then you found out that they dated, and she got her memory erased.
Yeah.
And then she's like, what the crap? This happened to me, and I'm
Yes.
doing it to other people. And oh man,
Yeah, it's good. It's solid. I enjoyed it. The next movie, because I feel like I got nothing. I just got nothing. I got nothing to say about the
it's
total.
okay. It's one of those situations we've talked about this before. Sometimes, I mean, you're not saying you loved it, but like sometimes even if you love something, that's all you like can say. You're like,
Yeah.
it was great, and I don't know why. Or like,
Yeah,
sometimes you hate something and you can go on for an hour about exactly why you hated it.
yeah.
But no, I'm glad
Yeah.
you watched it. Now you know why I loved it so much, and now I will reference it for every episode of Across the Pond forever, and you'll
Oh, no.
understand what I'm talking about.
I regret this. The next movie I watched, I think you'll be really happy with, because okay, I was like kind of drained at this point because I watched Alphaville, then I watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, so I was a little bit tired, and I was like, I don't really want to watch another movie, and I was worried I was going to go into this next movie and just be in that mindset and not enjoy it because of that. But the moment it started, I was like, I am intrigued. What is happening here? I love this, and that movie chocks off the bingo chart space for Wes Anderson, and was The Grand Budapest Hotel, which
Woo!
oh, it's enchanting. It's like what?
Isn't it beautiful?
It's gorgeous, and it's the way the story just keeps twisting and turning, and it feels like, you know how Forrest Gump is just like, what's happening now? I don't know, but I'm loving it. It's that. It's like every time something happens, I'm like, okay, this is where we're going now.
Anderson film?
Sorry?
Was this your first Wes Anderson film? No, because you watched Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
That was not live action, so it's your first live action Wes
Yeah.
Anderson. And don't you just love like how picturesque
Yes,
the directing
everything.
is?
It feels
everything
like
is
it's
always
filmed in a
centerfold.
doll's house.
Yeah, it's bright. It looks like
Yeah.
everything was like painted with candy,
Yeah.
and like I love silly little scenes like where the camera is focusing on the hotel or on the like the inside of it,
Yeah.
and they're chasing him through it, and they're all just going up and down the stairs,
Yeah.
like through all the stairways, and the camera's not moving, and it's just watching everyone like run in a line,
Yeah.
back and forth, and it's just like, what? Why are we watching this? But it's so funny.
Yeah. It's brilliant. It's like it's so intriguing and like interesting and like captivating to watch that you're just like, this is fantastic. This is just so, and there's so many good performances and such good character in there. Like, you just fall in love with those people, and you're like, I love
Enchanting
this
is a
story.
very good word to describe this
Yeah.
movie.
Because it's unique, and I don't know if other Wes Anderson films, because I've only seen Fantastic Mr. Fox. I did not enjoy Fantastic Mr. Fox. This one I really enjoyed, thoroughly enjoyed. If his other live action films are like this, I'm probably gonna go and watch more because
Oh, they're all very much like it.
oh my god,
I haven't seen them all, but they all have this style. There are silly videos on YouTube that are like, this is how you make a Wes Anderson film, and it's like, you know, everything is centerfold, and you have to add this and that, and it's like
Yep.
quirks that he uses, and he always uses a lot of the same actors. Like Bill Murray is in all his movies.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson is in most of them.
Yeah, I was surprised
'cause
when Owen
he's-
Wilson showed up, and he just didn't actually do anything. He was just there.
Yeah.
I love that. I thought that was really
like,
good.
I'm making a movie. You got to be in my movie. Wes Anderson has a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
he makes them quirky and like brilliant and bright, and there's
Yeah.
always a little bit of sweetness in there that you don't really expect.
Yeah.
Like when I first watched the movie, I didn't really understand that the story that Mustafa was telling, like you think it's all about Gustav and how much he
Yeah.
admires him, but really he's focusing so much on him because he's trying not to talk about how much he misses
Yeah.
and loves Agatha. Like, because in
Yeah.
the end, he's like, no, I kept the hotel for her.
Yeah.
Because it's all really about how much he loves her, but he can't talk about her because it makes him cry.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't even talk about their first 3 dates. He just went into like, oh yeah, I proposed to her and we made out in a movie theater.
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's I don't like. I just every single shot is beautiful, and it's a great cast, and Willem Dafoe
Excellent
is in it,
script.
and I love my boy Willem Dafoe, even though he barely says anything.
The guy who plays Gustav is Voldemort.
Yeah, Ralph Fiennes. Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
on the Wikipedia page afterwards, and I was like, who are
Ralph
all
Fiennes.
these like really small role like? Because Willem Dafoe's like he's in it all the time, but he barely says a word, and he's
Yeah.
just and Jeff
I get the feeling
Goldblum,
he had a
great
lot of
guy.
fun doing that.
I just
Saoirse Ronan was Agatha. She's the girl from Brooklyn, which I've talked to you about before.
Yeah.
I adore that film.
yeah, fantastic, brilliant. I just
Absolutely fantastic.
I can't. It's the kind of same thing where like I loved it.
I feel
but
like we
can't
could go on for
really
a long time
verbalize
about it, but it's hard to verbalize.
everything. Yeah,
You just watch it and you're like, whoa.
yeah, because it's so unique in its filmmaking. It's like this special little. I mean, presumably all Wes Anderson movies are this special little, uniquely made.
Yeah, they're funny little gems. Wes Anderson is a very special guy.
Yeah, because they're quirky and like the way it's shot like some sort of little fantasy. Like it's not realistic, but it is realistic, and you're like, normally that would pull me out of something, but it just no, it made me so captivated and so like I want to know where this weird little dollhouse drama is going.
Yeah.
Because that's what it felt like.
It's kind of like it's filmed in like a Willy Wonka world.
Yeah.
You're just like, how is this real? Like
Yeah.
all this when all the like boxes
so
were
pastel.
going through the prison and the guy was like chopping through them, and then one came through like shaped really weird, and he didn't examine it, and I was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, this movie's so silly, but
Yeah.
and yet it's heartfelt enough that you're like,
Yeah.
oh, what's gonna happen? And oh, my characters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's silly, but it's not like completely. It's not like some sort of completely bizarre. It's like riding the line between, like a realistic, heartfelt, like it's like somewhere
almost like
between
they
The
take
Cat in the
real
Hat and
stuff.
Manchester by the Sea. You know what I mean? It's like in the middle of that, and it's weird, and I love it.
It's almost like it's fantasy, but without any fantasy components. Like
Yeah.
everything in it was real life status, but like, oh man, Grand Budapest Hotel. I
Yeah,
loved that
it's
Gustav had so much sass every time he was talking to Zero, and Zero was just like wide-eyed and taking in everything he was saying.
yeah.
And he's like, da 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 da. Make sure you take care of every bitty bit of my hotel. And
Yeah. Oh, it's
let's
fantastic.
read a 17-page poem while everyone eats their soup.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I'd definitely recommend that one to people. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I want to watch more
Good.
Wes Anderson.
That wasn't
put him on my
good,
bingo chart
because
again.
that wasn't the Wes Anderson I was expecting you to watch, but I'm very glad you did.
Awesome. Well, I'll probably look into more of that. The next movie and the last movie, the one that I literally just watched, was taken off the final box. I got myself a bingo. Hell yeah! It was
bingo
Some Like It
time.
Hot with Marilyn Monroe.
Hey!
Which I was expecting to hate because I read the Wikipedia synopsis, and like as a trans woman, I hate one of my pet peeves is the
Stuff. Yeah.
yeah the a man is uncomfortable because he's dressed as a woman, haha, that's a funny joke because haha, dressing as a woman is like it makes me so uncomfortable. But this movie didn't actually lean on that as like a comedy crutch really at all. It handled it really well, I thought, because they were never like, oh, this is gross. They kind of just adapted to it, and it ended up just being natural and being like, okay. You know, the
Yeah,
jokes
like they were
weren't
just
about
trying to
how-
like hide out and
Yeah.
get through whatever. I can't remember the exact plot of the movie. They were hiding because they were
because of
in
spats.
right?
No, they weren't. They were the witnesses to the Valentine's Day massacre, which wasn't. They changed the criminal that did it because I guess Al Capone don't want to be on a movie. But yeah,
okay.
they were hiding from the mobsters, and they ended up like I really like how they just end up getting into the role, and it when they first start dressing as women, there's that little awkward like you know, this is uncomfortable for them, but it's not really played for laughs. It's just this is uncomfortable for them because of who they are, and it's like it's not played for ha. Dressing as a woman is bad. You shouldn't do it. It's just it's fine, and it didn't make me uncomfortable at all.
The funny thing was the most uncomfortable part was all the other girls believed that they were girls, and they were like, "Let's have a tickle party," and he's like, "Oh God, like stop."
Yeah,
and they're like getting turned on by all these girls, but they can't like go after them.
Yeah, and I think it did a really good job of actually handling. It was almost because it was the main plot of it was them seeing, oh, women actually have a hard time. Being a woman is bad right now, and it almost felt like a feminist film because when he gets pinched in the elevator and he's like, how dare that horrible man do that, and it's like, you see. And it was I thought it was really good. I thought it was like a solid...
It was Jack Lemmon and what was the other guy? They were both really good comedians, but Marilyn Monroe did a good job too. There was only one scene that I like thought was really overdone, and that was when they were like making out on the couch, and like it kept panning back to like them kissing and her being like, "Do you feel anything?" And he's like, "No." "Yeah, keep kissing me." And they panned back to it like 6 times, and I'm like, "Are they done?" Yeah, that kind of went on
a little bit too long, I would say. But yeah,
and there's no resolution to the story. Like the other guy, like was being escaped with by the crazy old guy who's like, "I'm gonna marry you," and he's like, "Well, I'm a man," and he's like, "Oh, that's okay." You're like, it ends there.
And then it's just like the end, and you're like, okay, I guess that happened. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I was expecting to hate it, and normally when I go into something expecting to hate it, I like, you know, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Find a reason
I'm glad that I didn't. I'm glad that, you know, it was good enough to pull me out of that mindset and, you know, prove me wrong.
You watched a nice old Marilyn Monroe movie. Was this in black and white?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
One of my favorite parts actually was in the like very first scene when they're all in the like illegal underground like gambling drinking thing, because this is during Prohibition.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, I want a cup of coffee," but really it's like, you know, a cocktail.
Yeah.
And then the massacre happens and there's a drunk being pulled away, and you can hear him in the background going, "I want another cup of coffee."
Yeah. It was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. But I don't really have anything else to say about that one. I think I'm done for the year. I think I'm done.
Done watching movies.
2017, I'll never watch a movie again. I actually, in total this year, I watched 121 movies. That's 10 per month on average. And an extra one. And I did a really good job.
How many of those movies were not in the movie theater? You probably don't want to go through and count them now, but like...
Yeah. I'm pretty proud of myself for watching that many. I think what we'll do is in a couple of days I'm gonna do a top 10 bottom 10 movies. I think I'm gonna do the same thing I did last year and only do ones that were released this year just so the video is relevant. But I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a video of my rankings of the top 10 and bottom 10 movies of the year. So tune in for that at some point soon. That should be fun. We might argue. I don't think we will argue, actually. I think we're pretty on par with...
Okay.
Although, I don't know, I don't think you've seen half the movies that I'm probably going to list. We might argue about release dates, though, because some films came out here in January, but, like, in December or whatever in the US. And they're on my list, because, like, they came out, to me, they were 2017 releases, so they count. But to other people, they might not.
The struggles of being across the pond.
I know, the struggles. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. And then in 2018, I think we're gonna, as I said earlier, we're gonna bounce back to doing one episode a month where
and in your little
me and QJ just chat. We're gonna make it more kind of casual, less structured. We're probably gonna, I'm not gonna talk about every movie I see. I might mention every movie I see, but not really talk about them. Just be like, oh yeah, and then I saw this, but I don't really want to talk about it because I don't have much to say. Just so that we're only talking about stuff that we really want to talk about, kind of thing. And we've each got a bingo chart. We're going to watch, 25 movies in one of those things? I've written mine for QJ. It's going to be very funny to watch her try and struggle through some of these. There's going to be arguments.
Oh,
no. And it's going to be fun. We're going to watch movies.
I can watch lots of old movies with these because Shay and I just got a Filmstruck subscription. So
shall I give you a little hint?
Actual really good old movies. No, I don't want hints.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can for like any of them. Oh wait, one of them you theory.
Get way too specific.
No.
Because that's not fun.
No, they're not too specific. They're just like, you can't watch an old movie with John Cena in it, can you?
I'll find a way.
If you insert him on your own, actually, you don't have the editing skills to do that, to insert John Cena into a movie, so I'm not really worried about that. Yeah, it should be fun. So tune in, 2018. My housemate is banging on his wall for some reason. That's a bit annoying, but yeah, tune in 2018. It'll be good. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Wow, good outro.
I know, I'm not
Nice.
normally that good at those.
The end.